going on, dudes and dudettes? So I know a lot of more reviews have been going to the shorts that I've been putting up of my teams and on their updates, but yeah, sadly over like the last 2 or 3 days, so much USC news has popped up, and I have to do a little bit of a longer video, so hopefully it's not too long for your guys' sake. But yes, that four-star defensive lineman Topui, who recently committed to USC from Mater Dei, is recently now going to shut down his recruitment. So it's basically saying, don't invite me to your school, stop recruiting me, stop calling me, sending emails. So I'm committed to USC 100% and staying home. So yeah, that's definitely very awesome to hear, and hopefully they get some more headway on some of those other recruits, especially those local California guys. But a little bit of an update on the recruiting side for football. Yes, there was one of those top cornerbacks in the five-star Duve Williams. He recently visited USC, and he says that both Trevon Reed and Doug Belt want him as a Trojan, so that's looking positive right there. Another four-star edge, Luke Waffle, was recently at USC again, so that was good to see. At least they were in the running for him. A four-star wide receiver, Calvin Russell, from the other side of the country, was visiting USC pretty recently, so that's a big-time get right there. And then a Ferris State offensive lineman, Bryce George, apparently scheduled a USC visit. He's from a Division II school in Ferris, but he's already 6'5", 315, and he played on the defensive line coming out of high school, but transitioned to the offensive side and got a little bit taller and bigger and still very athletic. But he wouldn't set up a USC visit if he didn't think he could at least compete for the spot, like a starting spot, and then maybe, if not get a starting spot, then be the first guy, the next man up off the bench for anybody that needs a breather. So we'll see what ends up happening right there. A linebacker from Boise State who entered the transfer portal, Andrew Simpson, I think he already set up a USC visit this week, and he already is putting out the fight on emoji with a question mark out there. So hopefully they get him. That's a position that they are looking at heavily at linebacker. An offensive tackle from South Dakota, and Joe Cotton, is getting a lot of interest from Division I schools, and USC seems to be one of them. So I guess they are trying to look for another guy to bring in to help compete with that first line, but then most likely get some depth pieces too. There's a pretty interesting guy from Notre Dame that entered the portal in their safety, Kennedy Urlacher. Yes, he is the son of that great Hall of Fame linebacker from Chicago, and Brian Urlacher. And yeah, it was tough to see him go there because I think he had USC in one of his final schools lists when he was trimming them down, but he chose them, and he got some playing time over the past couple years and looked pretty good. Saw some of his highlights too. I think this could be almost a replacement for the linebacker position because he's kind of like a free safety. He roams around all over the field, and he's very good tackler too, a very sure tackler as they call it. So, and then I think even a guy who used to do a lot of the recruiting updates for Notre Dame and all their stuff, he recently said, watch out for USC on this one, obviously, because Chad Bowden, their GM, was recently there. So hopefully that's some more influence to him picking USC in the near future. Then there was a player from South Dakota, an all-conference linebacker, Gary Bryant, has set up a USC visit also. He had 103 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions last season as a sophomore, so a couple more years left under his belt. The USC defensive lineman Lorenzo Cowan is entering the transfer portal. He is a redshirt freshman, so he's in his second or about to be his third year in the fall, but I guess he just saw all the talent. It's written on the wall that he wasn't going to get any playing time, and yeah, he was a big-time get. They stole him away from Kentucky, but yeah, sadly he's entering the portal, so good luck to him. And then I think CBS put out a top 150 players for 2025, and USC's receivers Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane made that list, so congrats to those guys. And then longtime Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith is retiring from 14 seasons in the NFL. Yes, he is an ex-USC player. I always forgot whenever NBC would do the intro to the players and they would say their name and their college. I never knew he was from USC until he actually said that on that broadcast. So yeah, I've always liked him. It just always sucked that he was with the Cowboys and did very well for them, but yeah, sadly he's hanging up his cleats. So congrats on a great career, and hopefully a first ballot Hall of Famer in the near future. And then Caleb Williams, the ex-USC quarterback, made it on the Mavericks of Sports for Esquire magazine. He's on that cover page, so that's a big time congrats to him. And then Fox Sports put out a top 10 of the colleges with the most players selected to a Pro Bowl all time, and USC is number 1 with 70. So I guess that's okay, but I guess that just means a lot of their guys have not made it to the Super Bowl, because usually you only go to the Pro Bowl if you don't make the Super Bowl. So I guess that's the only bad thing about being number 1 on that list. And then they put out some stats of all their stuff like over the last 10 years when it comes to NFL production for players to come out of USC, and they are ranked number 6, which is pretty awesome. They're like the 7th ranked school, and the 11th ranked defensive team. So that's pretty surprising just because of how many players do come out of USC, and then a lot of times too they don't pan out in the NFL, but yet those guys that are still out there are still doing work. So that was nice to see. And House of Victory had a signing with the freshman defensive back Alex Graham, so that was kind of interesting to see him as a defensive back because that means he plays safety and corner. And I think coming out of high school he was just a safety, so we'll see what position he's going to end up playing this season or the next couple seasons coming up. And the WNBA draft was this last Monday, and a couple of USC Trojans were selected. Kiki fan went number 4 overall to the Washington Mystics, so congrats to her. And then in the second round at pick 25, Rayah Marshall went to the Connecticut Sun. So yeah, thought they might get, I think those were pretty much the only 2 high-profile players from USC that were going to get drafted, and they did. So yeah, congrats to those ladies, and hopefully a couple more over the next couple seasons will get drafted out of USC. Speaking of the incoming freshman, yes, Jazzy Davison, apparently according to ESPN and their top 100, they have named her the number 1 player. So that was great to see, especially after her performance for Team USA in their win versus Team World. She had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. So yeah, putting up Juju Watkins-like numbers. So definitely like the way she plays. She's very athletic and going hard every single time, doing whatever she can to score or get an assist or rebounds too. So yeah, I like her hustle. So hopefully she brings a lot of that to the team next season. And then the women's side did finally sign a player from the transfer portal out of Georgia Tech. Her name is Kara Dunn. She's 5'11" guard, averaged 15.5 points per game while shooting almost 50% from the field. And I believe she was a first teamer in the ACC on the women's side. So yeah, that's a big time get in my opinion. So congrats to them. And then on the men's side, they did get another transfer portal player from Youngstown State in Gabe Dynes. He's a big guy, 7'3" center. So yeah, that's pretty crazy to see him commit to USC. And then the Longwood transfer Kobe Garland is down to 8 schools, and USC made that list on the basketball side. And then Maryland transfer Rodney Rice is taking a visit to USC this last Wednesday, so today as I'm recording this. So hopefully as the video goes up tomorrow, he might have committed or not. And then Cal State Bakersfield transfer Jamel Jones recently said USC reached out to him, and he averaged like almost 19 points a game, so he's a pretty good player. Then Howard transfer Blake Harper was at USC pretty recently. He averaged like almost 20 points a game too, and he was the MEAC player of the year as just a freshman. And then yeah, when it came to USC and the NBA, according to production, they are number 4, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, not that bad for USC. And then on the baseball side, they defeated Penn State 6-3, and then defeated them again 11-6. And they also had the player of the week in the infielder Aubrey Covarrubias. He's a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken. And then the USC beach volleyball women's side defeated the number 4 LMU team 3-2. So yeah, congrats to those ladies still dominating on the beach volleyball side. And yeah, a couple nice updates for the USC sports here. So hopefully have a couple more good news. Like I said, a lot of those transfer portal guys were on campus pretty recently, especially for the basketball side. So hopefully we hear some news for both the men and women's side. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Fight on.